Good afternoon, everyone. This is BremSter, and today I'm coming to you with a puzzle called Quad Damage by Wuschel. Quadruples puzzles. When they come in, they always excite me a little. So I'm looking forward to this one. No idea how hard this one is. It's a Wuschel puzzle, so it could be tricky. We'll find out. Not really much to say, so let's get on to the puzzle. So normal Sudoku rules apply. In every box, in every row, and in every column, the digits 1 to 9 must be placed without repetition. We have arrows, so digits placed on arrows must sum to that arrow's circle. And quadruples. Digits in circles must appear at least once in the 4 surrounding cells. So we know 2 and 5 will be placed in those 4 cells, and there will be at least 1 7 in those 4 cells. There may be 2, but there will be at least 1. They're the rules. I'm going to restart the puzzle to restart my timer. Let's give this a shot. So, there's no obvious quadruple effects going on. So for example, I know 2 is in here, but this 2 doesn't line up with it. So I can't use, like if this 2 was here, I could turn around and say, well, the 2's in these columns would line up. So I could then make a deduction, but I'm not seeing any obvious quadruple thing. But this is saying that there's no 2 on these arrows. So I think this is 7, 8, or 9, because if this couldn't be anything 4 or lower, because I need 2 ways of making up the total of this arrow. So normally you could use 5, but to do 5 you would need 1 4 and 2 3, and I don't have 2 3 available, and I can't use 6 because 6 would be 1 5 and 2 4, and I don't have 2 available. But 7 I could use 1 6 and 3 4. 8 would be, I've got 1 7. I don't have 2 6. Oh, 8 may not be possible, because 8, the way you can do 8 is you can use 1 7, you can use 2 6, and you can use 3 5, and I can't use 2 6 or 3 5, so 8 is not possible. So this is only 7 or 9. This one is probably even more restricted. So normally you can't use 4 because 4 only has 1 3, but 5 is possible. So 5 6 7 8 9 is what all of these corners are, but they're going to be more restricted. So this can't be 6 or 8 because 6 and 8 is down here. If this was 5, I'd have 1 4 and 2 3. So that doesn't work, and I end up with a 7 9 pair in the top. But is one of those impossible? Because a 7, I could use 1 6. I can't use 1 6 on an arrow. I could use 2 5. I can't use 3 4, and they're the only possibilities. So I can't use 1 6 or 3 4, and I can't make both of those 2 5. So this isn't a 7. That's a 9. This is a 7. So the 7 is 1 6. I can't use 2 5. These are 1 6 and 3 4. So these are 2 5 8 and 9. The 9 now can't be 1 8, it could be 2 7, it can't be 3 6, it can be 4 5. So these are 1 3 6 and 8, which means 8 is definitely up here. But I'm not. Let's investigate down here. This can't be a 5 because I'd need to put a 4 on one of these arrows. 6 would need 1 5 and 2 4, and I don't have 4 available, so it's not 6. It's not 7 because 7 is seen from up here. If it's 8, yeah, 8 is possible because I could use 1 7, I could use 2 6, I could use 3 5, and 9, there are 4 ways of making 9, and I'm only removing 1 digit. Down here, I can't use 9. 5 would need 1 4 and 2 3, and 2's not available. 6 would need 1 5 and 2 4, and 2's not available. So this is 7 or 8. Now if it's 7, it's 1 6 and 3 4, and if it's 8, it's 1 7 and 3 5. This is actually fascinating. But I'm not sure how to take this much further. This is all fascinating, but I'm not sure how to use it. If this was 3, 4, this would be 2, 7. Is any of these impossible? I don't think so. They're not the right values to make them impossible. But maybe I do down here. Because if this is 8, this couldn't be 1, 7. Here we go. If this was 8, what could this be? It couldn't be 1, 1, 7. It could be 2, 6. Oh, no. Actually, that might not be the one to look at. If this is 8, it couldn't be 1, 7. It could be 2, 6. It could be 3, 5. But this couldn't be 2, 6. Because that would... Oh, no, it could be 2, 6. 3... No, this is not the way to look at it. Maybe it is, but... I can see if 8 is on this arrow, there's a lot going on. Because this had become 8, 1. This had become 9. This had become 8, 1. There'd be 8 and 1 down here. So this would be 8 and 1, 7. And all sorts of stuff would change from that. But... So if this is 7, this could be 1, 6, and there's no impact up there. Oh. Oh, it's more simple than that. What am I even talking about? This 7 means this isn't 2, 7, it's 4, 5. So this isn't 4, 5, this is 2, 7, which means 2 is down here, which means 2 is down here. Now this is 8 because it sees 2, 7. That was way simpler. This is 9, and I get all the corners. Now these are 1, 7, they're not 2, 6, and 3, 5. But there's no 7 here. This isn't the 1, 7, this is the 3, 5. There's no 3, 5 here. This was way simpler. The 4, 5 looks over saying this isn't the 3, 4, it's the 1, 6, so there's no 1, 6 here. The 7 did all the work. I just missed it. What a doofus. So this isn't 1, 8. It isn't 2, 7. It could be 3, 6, but it can't be 4, 5. And this could be 1, 8. It can't be 2, 7. It can't be 3, 6, and it can't be 4, 5. So this is 1, 8. And now I get all of these triples. This is very clever. But these are now 2, 3. They're not 4, 5, 6, 7, 2, 3, and 8. Now this can't be a 2. Because these would have to sum to 1. And it can't be a 3 because these would be 1, 2, and the 2 is up here. So this is the 8. This is incredibly clever. I've missed that for way too long. But, you know, that happens. This is a triple, which is, well, there's no 1. The 1 is in here, which means this is the 6 and this is the 1. I'm not sure what that 2 did, but this 1 makes that the 6 and that the 1. The 6 looks down, making that the 3 and that the 6. Which puts 3 in here. Now, this can't be the 3 because this would have to be 1, 2, and it's not. So the 3 is on this arrow. But this triple is 2, 5, 6. Okay, this triple is 2, 4, 5. Now, this can't be 2 because these would have to both be 1. And if they're... This is 4 or 5. Now, that means I think there has to be a 1 on this arrow. Because if it's 4, it's 1, 3. And if it's 5, actually, I don't think it can be 5. Because if it's 5, this would have to either be 1, 4, which it can't be, or 2, 3, which it can't be because the 4 and the 2 are gone. So this is 4 with 1, 3. That's very cool. And the 4 comes out of those. That's really cool. It's weird that these don't... Anyway, let's look at that. These don't seem to have resolved at all yet. But let's look at this triple. 1, 4, 6. Which just telling me that the 2 is in one of those. So that's not done much either. But these triples are going to restrict these, because I can't put a 1 or a 2 on this arrow. So the minimum this is 3, 5? The minimum this is 3, 5. Yeah, I can't put a 1 on this arrow anymore. So the 8 is over here. But the minimum here, without being 1, 2, or 4, is 3, 5. There must be a 3 on it, because otherwise it's 5, 7, and that doesn't work. So this is either 3, 5. It can't be 3, 6. The 6 is over here. This is 3, 5. Absolute minimums. And this is 8. Because in order to go up, I'd need to use 3, 6, and that'd have to make that 9, and I can't do it. So there's no 8 there. And there's no 3 there. This is 1, 6. This isn't 1, 6. This is 3, 8. The 1, 6 looks down, making that the 7 and that the 1. This is beautiful. The 3, 5 looks up, making that the 4 and that the 5. 1, this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These are 2 and 9. And here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 and 6 go in. So I know what this triple is. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 7, and 9. There's no 2 there because of the quadruple. But these have to sum to 8. Maybe I can do the same trick here, because there's no 1, 2 on this. There must be a 3. Now, I pencil marked the 3 because of Sudoku, but I think it's actually more basic than that. There must be a 3 on this. I could use 3, 4 for 7. I can't use 3, 5 or 3, 6. So this must be 3, 4, summing to 7. Because if I don't use a 3, I could use 4, and then the next digit I would have would be 4, 7, and that would need to be 11, which doesn't work. So there is a 3, and if it's not 3, 4, it'd be 3, 5, which I don't have, or 3, 6, which I don't have. After that, I hit 3, 7, and that'd have to be 10. So this is 3, 4, 7. So these are 1, they're not 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 8, and 9. There's no 1 here because of the quadruple. The 8 takes 8 out of there. Did that not do anything to that? But the 189 did. 189 takes 8 and 9 out of there, which takes 2, 5 out of there. So now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These are 2 and 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are 4 and 7. This is nuts. I'm just getting pairs all over the place. So now 7 is in one of those two. This 7 is going to break a lot open, but I'm not sure how yet. So how do I make this 8? It can't be 1, 7, because if this was 1, 7, those would both be 9. Because 1, 7 here the 1 here would make that 9, the 7 here would make that 9. So it's not 1, 7. So it's 2, 6 or 3, 5. If it's 2, 6, that's a 5. If it's 3, 5, I'm not sure. Now this, hang on, Sudoku, that's an 8. Because 8, the 8 in this quadruple is knocking it out of there. This 8 is knocking it out of there, and these can't be 8. That's the 8, which makes that the 1 and that the 8. The 1 makes that the 3 and that the 1. The 3 looks up saying that's not the 3, so that's not the 5. This is now a triple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9. These are 6, 7, and 9. But I can do more than that. The 3 makes that the 5, which makes that the 3. The 5 looks back making that the 2 and that the 5. The 2 looks back making that the 9 and that the 2, taking 9 out of there. But surely this can go further. This is a 4, 6, 7. This is a 4, 6, 7, 9. Maybe not. But this 8. Yeah, it's this 8. Because how do you make 8? I can use 1, 7, I can't use 2, 6, and I can't use 3, 5. After that, I need 4, 4. So this is 1, 7. Which means I can't put 7 in that cell. Because 7 here would mean both of those are 1. So I can't put 7 in any of those. That becomes a 7, making that a 9, making that a 1, taking 1 out of there. Now that 9 takes 9 out of those. The 1 takes 1 out of here. There's something going on in that row, but I'm not following it yet. This is so cool. Here's something. 2s. 2 in this box has to be in one of those 2 cells, so I can't put 2 in any of those. 2 in this box has to be in one of those 2 cells, so I can't put 2 in any of those. So the 2 in this column cannot go in those or those, so it has to go in one of those 3 cells. So that is not a 2, so that is not a 6. This is a 2 or a 5, this is a 3 or a 6. So this is a 3, 4, 6 triple. So that is not a 6. If that's and this can't be, that can't be a 2, because if this was a 2, that would be a 5 to sum to 7, and that cell would have no fill. There's no 2 there. So what can this be? It could be 1, 6, but it would be in this order. It can't be 2, 5. Could it be 3, 4? No, it can't be 3, 4. I can't put 3 or 4 into that cell. So if this was 3, 4, I just can't do it. Because if I put 3 there, that would need to be 4, and it can't be. If I put 4 there, that would need to be 3, and it can't be. So this isn't 3, 4. And they're the only possibilities. 1, 6, 2, 5 doesn't work, 3, 4 doesn't work. This is 1 and 6. That means that's the 7 and that's the 1. That takes 7 out of there. So this is 1, 6, which means that's the 4, which means that's the 6, that's the 1, and the 6 means that's the 3, which means that's the 5. This is now the 2 in the middle of the grid, making that the 7 and that the 2. This is beautiful, isn't it? I think it's beautiful. Those 2 2s take 2s out of those, so that becomes the 2. The 3 looks across, making that the 4 and that the 3. The 6 looks across, making that the 5 and that the 6. The 5 looks back, making that the 3 and that the 5. There's stuff everywhere. This 1 makes this the 6 and this the 1. There'll be stuff everywhere. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is 6 or 9 and it sees a 6. So that's the 9, that's the 6, so that's the 7 and that's the 9. The 9 here makes that the 8 and that the 9, which looks across, making that the 3 and that the 8. The 3 looks across, making that the 4 and that the 3. 3 here looks up, making that the 2 and that the 3. But down here I placed a 6, which makes that the 4 and that the 6. The 4 looks back, making that the 7 and that the 4. The 2 here looks down, making that the 5 and that the 2. This is 8 or 9, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Didn't do it in the right order, but they are the right digits. So this has to be 8 or 9, and it sees a 9. So that's the 8. So that's the 9. That's the 8. This is not the 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These are 4 and 9, but the 9 can't go there. So 9 and 4. The 7 here makes this the 2 and this the 7. The 2 looks back, making this the 5 and this the 2. And these are 4, 5, and 6. There's a 4 and a 5 here, so that's the 6. I take the 6 out of those, and I'll use that 5 to make that the 4 and that the 5. 18 minutes and 9 seconds. Beautiful coffee break puzzle. When I first looked at this grid and it was like, hang on, how are these arrows going to work? It was that 7, eliminating 2, 7 from here. I missed it for way too long. It's like, what am I going to do? How am I going to figure out how these arrows bounce off each other? It was just a 7 looking across. Sometimes you miss stuff. That was great. How elegant is that puzzle? It is so unfortunate that so many of the bigger channels do not showcase these small, elegant puzzles. They just, I mean, there's not a lot of watch time in them, so there's not a lot of revenue in them. I'm assuming that's the reason. I hope I'm wrong, but beautiful, short, elegant. That's exactly what you. Beautiful puzzle, absolutely stunning. I've had a couple of them recently. There was one recently by Sotek that met that criteria. Um, you can do absolute beauty in a puzzle that doesn't take 40 minutes to solve. This is absolute evidence of that. Thank you, Wuschel. Very, very happy to have this one on the channel. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And as always, good luck with your solving.